everyone, and welcome to Superman Homepage Live. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2023. This is the Superman live show brought to you by supermanhomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. In this, our first show of 2023, our January 9th show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including what we're looking forward to in 2023 for Superman. We're going to be talking about some of the latest news around the movie side of things. We're going to be talking about the latest comic books. We've got upcoming titles for Lois and Superman and Lois episodes for season 3, and so much more. And to let you know how you can get involved in tonight's show, because we want to hear from you as well, let me introduce you to my co-host. Happy New Year, Michael Bailey.
Happy New Year to you too, as well, Steve. It's been 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks. Yeah, it's been 3 weeks since we spoke. Weird. God, it
Did you
really
miss-
doesn't feel
Did
like
you
it.
miss me?
Yes, I did. Actually, it's funny. Like at 10:30 on Monday night, both weeks, I was just like, kind of like, shouldn't I be doing something? And like last week was not really my first day back from vacation, but it was like the first like full work day.
Mm.
And it was still weird, and I had to pick something up from the store, and I'm like, it's not a problem this week. I don't have to do the show, and that was weird. But we are back, and we do want to hear from the people watching us live right now. And if you want to get involved in the show, all you have to do is go to supermanhomepage.com/live and press the call now button. Yes, this is me using my broadcaster voice. There, you're going to be in the green room, and you can actually watch the show while you wait. Or if you're watching this and you don't want to do it through your computer, you can take out your phone and scan the QR code, and it'll take you right there as well. Now, if you do want to the show and you're going to do it through your phone, for the love of God, wear a headset, because we get this weird crackling thing when people don't. So if you would do that, we would appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. And if you're too shy to get onto the phone or call us tonight, then feel free to participate in the comments there on YouTube. Fellow fans are already there. Alex, JP, Kit Kat, a few others involved in the chat already. A few new names I haven't seen before, so that's really cool. Glad for you that you're joining us tonight. Feel free, post your comments, ask questions. Michael and I keep an eye on that comment thread there, and we'll react and ask and answer your questions as appropriate. And you can also post a super chat. That's a little thing that appears live on the screen as we go along. You can click on the dollar symbol there on YouTube. A slider will appear on your screen. You decide on the dollar amount you're willing to donate, and we will feature your question or comment live on the screen as we go to air. There's also super thanks and super stickers if you want to give them a try as well. But looking forward to seeing all our regulars and new members watching the show tonight, and welcome to 2023. So yeah, looking forward to chatting with people tonight. Really cool. But Mike, it's a new year, and 2023 does promise big things for Superman. So let's look ahead just with our crystal ball and see what the new year is going to hold in store for Superman. We've got all the talk about new movie that we'll be riding the roller coaster this year. We've got new Superman and Lois season coming our way. A new era of Superman comics, which I know you're excited about, being back on board with the comic books. What are you looking forward to most in 2023?
Really the comics and Superman and Lois. I'm kind of looking forward to the movie talk, but only in that it's something we do, and we've been doing since Man of Steel. So it's we've been here before, you and I, right at the beginning, and but really it's the comics, which Joshua Williamson has been previewing artwork from the new Superman book. Philip Kennedy Johnson is tweeting extensively as well, as is Tom Taylor. So all that's really cool. And we're getting the third season of Superman and Lois. And it's just amazing that we get to say it's the third season, because 5 years ago, this was all unlikely. This was really like no one in 2018. If someone would have said, "Yeah, there's going to be a Superman show entering its third season 5 years from now," I would have been like, "Yeah, that's nice. It's never going to happen, but that's a nice thought." So,
We also get a new animated series this year, My Adventures with
yep.
Superman. We still don't have a premiere date for that, but that's something to look forward to. We know 2 seasons have already been ordered for that on Cartoon Network, so there's that to look forward to. Yeah, it's there's a lot of good things to look forward to in the world of Superman, and as always, we'll be on top of things at the Superman homepage, keeping fans abreast of all the ups and downs, ins and outs, and with the world of Superman. So looking forward to what should be a bumper year for the Man of Steel. But let's start with the movie side of things, and what's happened over the last couple of weeks since we've done our last show in the end of 2023. And just today, the news came out that the DC League of Super Pets animated movie has been nominated for a Golden Reel Sound Editing Award, which is nice to see that movie is getting some recognition. They're
Yep.
being nominated for Outstanding Achievement in Sound Editing for Feature Animation.
Yeah, I mean, I really, over the holidays, I picked up the score to the film,
Okay.
and I'm kind of wishing it would have gotten some kind of recognition for that. Uh, Maybe it's because it used previously used themes. I don't know if there's like if that's looked down upon, but
Mm-hmm.
no, that movie was much better than. It's gonna sound weird. The movie was much better than it had any right to be.
Yeah.
Um, in this era of these kind of throwaway animated films that feature somewhat adult humor as well,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you don't always expect it to be good. Like you expect to enjoy yourself, but this turned out to be good. So I'm glad it's getting some recognition.
Yeah, it's up against some pretty stiff competition in the way of especially Pinocchio. Guillermo del Toro's
Mhm.
Pinocchio on Netflix was an awesome animated film. If you haven't seen that, it's stop motion animation, which just makes it all the more impressive. It's also up against Lightyear and Puss in Boots. But yeah, I mean, sound editing is kind of it's one of those topics that's a kind of a little bit you don't know what they're looking for as far as in lay terms. You know, you don't. It's hard to kind of um, give an opinion where for cinematography or editing or director, we all have our opinions. But as far as sound editing is concerned, I guess it's a pretty specialized topic to be able to say yes. I think that was the best film in this area.
Yeah, that is something that I rarely pay attention to. I'm
Mm,
going to admit, and I think you're not supposed to think about the sound.
no.
I think if it's done well, you're just buying into it. Like if there's something off about it, then you're going to notice it.
Mm-hmm.
But sound editing, as somebody who does very very limited audio editing, my God, like I can't even imagine
Yeah.
doing like a
Hats
whole
off to
motion
those
picture
people.
where everything has to have a sound.
Yeah, and you're talking about sounds that don't exist because the
Yeah,
animation, with steps and howls and cars and things that they're you can't record those on while you're filming because they don't exist. And then you got all the voice, which is all the ADR and all that kind of stuff is done separately. So the multiple layers of audio that you have to be trying to sync up and what have you. So very impressed with anybody who does sound editing, and it's probably an undervalued feature that we, as you say, don't really pay too much attention to. But good luck to DC League of Super Pets on that front. We hope they do well.
yep, absolutely.
Now, as we've mentioned in the past, this year Warner Brothers is celebrating their 100-year anniversary, as is Disney. So they both kind of existed in the premiered, I guess, or debuted at the same time back in the day, 100 years ago. And as Warner Brothers has promised, they're going to be doing a whole range of things this year to celebrate their 100th anniversary. And being that it's already summer here in Australia, it's not surprising to see that they're kicking off things here in our summer with a open air cinema here in Sydney, where certain Warner Brothers movies will be shown. And one aspect of that is that there's Superman related films, Man of Steel, Black Adam, as we know, Henry Cavill appears as Superman at the end of that, and DC League of Super Pets, which we just mentioned, will be screened at Darling Quarter this summer as part of the Warner Brothers 100-year celebration. It's going from January 12th to January 29th, Thursday to Sunday, and everyone is invited to join in this free event. All you have to do is register online to secure your place. There you can choose from beanbags, picnic rugs, or bring your own picnic rug and sit in the unreserved section. Walk-ins are welcome, subject to capacity. So really interesting and exciting to see that they're doing something here in Australia to celebrate Warner Brothers' 100th anniversary as well.
I'm a little surprised Superman the movie isn't on the list.
Yeah.
I guess they got what they thought would sell.
Yeah, well, there's all the Harry Potters, and there's some of they start off with the Batwheels episodes, and then go into some movies. But there are some classics in there. Not to mention, obviously there's the Wizard of Oz, there's the Blade Runner, the Final Cut, Space Jam, other things like that, as well as In the Heights. What else they got? Wonder Woman, Batman, The Dark Knight, and yeah. So, but Man of Steel, DC League of Super Pets, and Black Adam are the ones that of Superman fans will be interested in.
Yep, absolutely.
Very cool. All right, just go to darlingquarter.com if you're interested in that. Now, we kind of had a bit of a laugh before the show. We were talking about the ins and outs of Zack Snyder's Justice League, and there's been a little bit of talk and a new hashtag from those on social media trying to start a new area of interest for continuing the Snyderverse. They're trying to get the Snyderverse. They're trying to get Netflix to buy out the Snyderverse.
The astounding lack of thinking it through of just the sheer logistics. Let's go beyond Netflix buying the rights, okay, which isn't going to happen. You're going to have to get all these people back on board. And yeah, I'm sure some of them, Ray Fisher in particular, would probably love to jump back into it. I don't know if Cavill's really going to be wanting to play Superman anymore, since Warner Brothers basically showed him the door. And Ben Affleck, probably not. Jason Momoa, he's got something going on with Warner Brothers, so he probably doesn't want to, upset that apple cart. Guys, there's a time to walk away. You got to let it go. You really just have to let it go. The thing we're about to talk about, I think that is a very fair way to express your passion for it. But yeah, that's the Netflix thing. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I understand their passion for it, and good luck to them. They're obviously seeing the writing on the wall that Warner Brothers is, not going to continue on down that path, so they're looking for somewhere else to try to save their beloved universe of Zack Snyder's Justice League. But as you said, there's a time to just accept defeat and say, oh, well, we tried hard, we did well, we got the Zack Snyder's Justice League thing happened, and be thankful that was there for you and move on. But as you said, some fans have moved on and they've done their own thing, continuing on what they call a Project Justice League, a 43-minute fan-made motion comic that follows on from where Zack Snyder's Justice League left off and kind of tries to take up the story where they think things might have gone with Zack Snyder's Justice League had it continued. And here's a little bit of that video looking at this motion comic. I'm going to kind of skip forward a little bit because there is a lot of preamble, so just bear with me as I get to some interesting parts.
Nearly the entire population has fallen to the anti-life equation, their minds being completely controlled by Darkseid.
Deadshot says he remembers when his daughter was taken. It haunts him worse than death. They need to move soon. The planet alignment is tomorrow night, where Earth will be in the same place it was when two heroes struggle. The Flash races as fast as he can.
Run, Barry, you have to run faster, Barry, faster!
Exploding in time, just before Superman reaches him. The Flash races back in time. Then we're with Bruce and Lois as they first argue.
So there you can see there's a lot of exposition, a lot of written text in there as well, but some interesting animation, and it's a motion comic, so it's not supposed to be full animation, but I haven't watched it all the way through. It is 43 minutes long, so well done to these people for being able to stick with their project and get it done, but not for me.
I'm a pretty big believer in, if you need time travel to solve your plot that you've gotten yourself into, your plot wasn't. There's no point to your plot. Stories, to my mind, are about the journey of the characters and what they learn on the way. And when you do time travel, Superman the movie is guilty of this. When you do time travel, you have basically eliminated all of that growth.
Mm.
It can be a compelling story, and I'm sure people enjoy that kind of stuff. But if the solution to your big, huge Justice League trilogy is at the end we have to go back in time and prevent something from happening, I don't think at that point what's the point, you know?
Mm.
And yeah, Endgame was all about time travel to go to get what they needed to do. That rides the line.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Because they were just trying to get the stones, so it's not like they were going back in time to prevent something from happening. Everything happened,
Mm.
but they needed to go back in time to get the stones to stop the threat that they now created. Yeah, I appreciate the passion, and they got some good narration there. That didn't sound bad.
No, like I said, they've done a great job. So good luck to them. Well done, and happy that they were able to complete that and get it done. So if you're interested, and that's something you want to have a look at, the 43-minute fan-made motion comic, Zack Snyder's Justice League, Project Justice League, I should say, is available to watch on our website via YouTube. So check that out. And with the discussion about moving on from the Snyderverse, we have James Gunn, as we know, writing a script for a new Superman movie set in the early days of Superman. So Henry Cavill is not involved, as we all know. We start with the speculation of who will be in the cast and who will star as Superman and what will the movie be about. And Michael Rosenbaum, who is always in the media doing his podcasts and Talkville and all that kind of stuff, and he's good friends with James Gunn, said that he would be very interested if they asked him to come back to play Lex Luthor. He said, for James, I'd do anything.
Yeah, the fact that they've worked together helps on that.
Yeah.
Because he was in the second Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know it's him because he is CGI. But yeah, I mean, I always joke, actor says will work, as like your headline. But he's turned down coming back to Lex because it didn't appeal to him and the money wasn't right. So if they were going to cast him, it would be interesting. It brings a little bit of baggage.
Yeah.
Because he's played the character before. But yeah, why not?
Yeah, and it's a throwaway line, where he says, he'd do anything for James Gunn. I really don't see them bringing back anybody who's been in the roles before, young, old, whatever. I really see them wiping the slate clean and going with a whole new cast. There might be people that we recognize, known actors. For Superman, I'd still like them to go with an unknown and bring in somebody completely new. But if there's a known actor that they want to bring in with acting chops and a bit of name recognition for Lex Luthor, Lois Lane, whoever, then go ahead, go for it. But I don't see them bringing back people who have previously been in the role in other projects or in other versions of the story.
Yeah, if it's like a cameo thing,
yeah,
like Noel Neal and Jack Larson used to do, that'd be fine. But unfortunately, most of Superman the movie is gone. So I'm not laughing because I think it's funny. It's just I'm laughing because I'm trying not to be sad about it.
Yeah, a long time has gone. I think Mark McClure being one of the, would still be around. Also, obviously, what's his name that played the baby, Baby Kal-El.
Aaron Smolinski, yeah,
yeah,
he's got to be in it. He really
he's
at
been
this
in
point
everything
it's
else.
like it's like a law or
Yeah,
something.
has to. So Aaron, good luck. Touch base with James Gunn. I'm sure he'll be interested to hear from you. And speaking of Smallville, Al Goff and Miles Miller, the co-creators of Smallville, are tasting success once again with Wednesday, the Netflix series, which has just been announced. The new season, second season, has been greenlit, and good luck to them. Wednesday was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a really great series. If you're a Addams Family fan, you will enjoy it. Even if you're not, I think you still enjoy it. But the pair have been doing interviews, and the Hollywood Reporter asked them about comparisons between the success of Smallville and the success of Wednesday, and what they would change if they had a chance to go back and look at Smallville. And interestingly, Goff said the Clark Lana thing played out way too long. Something else had to happen there. I think that was one that got a little repetitive. Can't disagree with him.
Yeah, I was fascinated by this because it's one of the criticisms I've kind of had with the show. But the point they make is, I think, the point that a lot of people forget. Smallville, as much as it was a Superman show, it was also a teen drama on a
Yeah.
network
Mm-hmm.
that was known for teen dramas. And I respect there are people that I respect that had criticisms of the show that I always looked at and went, guys, I think you're looking for something that isn't there.
Mm.
You're reviewing it, but you're reviewing it for what it isn't and not what it is. And at that time, romances like Clark and Lana would go season after season. I think it was Miles that made the point that we were just trying to get to 5 years.
Mm.
And this is what and that was another thing. I was like, these guys were just dancing as fast as they could to keep the lights on. It's just I'm so much more charitable towards Smallville now than I was like when it was on, uh, and I'm kind of
Yeah.
amused by that. And there's like a bunch of really great Smallville podcasts out right now as well, like Always Hold On to Smallville, that are people who watched it when they were kids
Mm.
or teenagers and now they're adults and they're watching it again, which is a completely different perspective from most of the people that I know, because most of the people that I know, we were all adults when it came on.
Yep.
Some more adult than others. But I just feel bad for these guys because they were doing everything they could and they were trying to appease the corporate suits. They were trying to appease a general audience, and then they had to contend with us, and we're not easy to get along with. We are an ornery group of fans
Yeah.
that will let you know when we're upset.
I think, other than season 10's finale, I think the fact that they were dealing with parts of Superman's life or Clark Kent's life that really hadn't been explored too much in the general public's view. Sure, there were comic book stories, and a lot of fans would know about the comic book history between Superboy and Lex Luthor and stuff like that from the comic books. But the general public didn't really know too much about, other than, the fact that Superman's rocket ship landed in Smallville and then he grew up to be Superman. That growing up period hadn't really been explored on television or movies to a degree that Smallville did. And so they had that flexibility to be able to do what they wanted to do and create their own story without too much backlash from the Superman fandom who weren't that versed in the comic book side of things.
Yeah, and it's funny. There were people who professed to be, versed in the Superman fandom that were complaining things like, why are Smallville and Metropolis, so close together? And I'm like, guys, that's what it was like until 1986. So, John Byrne took over and made Smallville in Kansas and Metropolis on the East Coast. Back in the day, if you looked at a map, which they would put in the comics from time to time, they were within driving distance, and between them, this always amused me, was Bigville. I just thought that was hilarious. But
Nice.
it's just so I maybe it's because Al Goth came on the when we had the audio version of this show, and it
Yep.
was just a delight to talk to,
Yes.
and just seemed really. This is gonna sound weird. He was appreciative of the fact that the site talked about the show,
Yeah.
because that wasn't a thing at the time, for network shows.
No.
So,
And
but
there were
I'll
some
give these.
people who
Yeah,
didn't even know that Smallville was a Superman show.
yeah, yeah.
Surprisingly enough.
But yeah, like I cut these guys metric yards of slack,
Yeah.
which is a joke. I know that metric and yards are two different things. That's
Nice.
the joke.
Nice.
Um, because they were just doing what they thought they needed to do at the time.
Yeah, exactly. And they did well to go for 10 seasons. Whatever you might think of the
Yeah,
show, well done to them. And I'm glad, as I said, that they've tasted success again with Wednesday. All right, so while we're still talking about TV side of things, the current Superman show on network television is Superman and Lois, which, as we said, is about to start its third season. We now know that it will premiere on Tuesday, March 14th, with the first episode titled Closer or Closer. We now know that the second, third, and fourth episode titles are Uncontrollable Forces, In Cold Blood, and Too Close to Home. So the third season of Superman and Lois opens weeks after Superman's blowout defeat of Ali Alston. Clark and Lois are now working at the Smallville Gazette together and enjoying small town life, but the Kent's romantic bliss only shines a light on how isolating the secret can be, as Chrissy struggles to balance a new love interest and her friendship with Lois. However, Lois's own work-life balance is put to the test when an undercover assignment reveals a deadly foe that promises to change the Kent family forever. Superman would move heaven and earth for his family, but with a villain this merciless, even that might not be enough.
sounds like they're really going all in, and I really like that. And we know Lex is coming,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, it just like if they're on one hand, I wonder if they're like playing it like it's the last season, because they just want to get a lot of stuff in. The danger of that is if they do that and then they get the next season, it's just like, okay,
Where do we go?
what do we do now?
Yes. And we also know Bruno Mannheim is a major villain this season as well. So with Bruno and Lex coming
Yeah,
in, Metropolis can't be that far away as far as spending maybe a little bit more time back in the big city. It'll be interesting to see just how that all plays out, and can't wait for season 3 to kick off March 14th.
yep, it's gonna be great. I'm looking
Looking
forward to
forward.
it.
Yes, me too. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we do have a new animated series coming our way. Superman and Lois are joined by Jimmy Olsen in a new animated series called My Adventures with Superman. And Not So Average Fangirl, a podcast, video channel on YouTube, recently interviewed Josie Campbell, a co-producer who I also interviewed not that long ago myself. And she revealed that Jimmy Olsen will be voiced by Ishmael Sahid, who is not necessarily a familiar face to many or a familiar voice, but that's him there on the screen. I don't know much about him. Is he a name that you recognize at all?
Not at all. And it's nothing nothing against Ishmael.
No.
Um, because there are a lot of actors that I don't know who they are. So
Yes. So supposedly he's from a TV series called Cousins for Life. That's the image there from that series on Nickelodeon. But we do know that Jimmy will be black in this series, and Lois is voiced by an Asian actress or of Asian descent, Alice Lee, with Jack Quaid from The Boys voicing Clark Kent / Superman. So it's a multiracial cast, which is very, indicative of the society we live in, and should be that way. But interesting to see where they go with this series. I'm looking forward to it because, from all accounts, it's going to be a mix of action, comedy, and romance. And the new series is expected to premiere on Cartoon Network sometime in 2023.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. All right, we're at the halfway mark of tonight's show. We're going to take a quick break, play some messages, and then come back after that to talk about comic books, because there's a big world of comic books out there, folks, with big things coming in 2023. Cannot wait to see where they go. But we're going to play a few messages. We'll be back after this. Don't forget, we also got our fan favorite segment and also our This Week in History to do. We'll be back shortly.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
If you're enjoying Superman Homepage Live, then please like and share this video with your family and friends. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, then you can click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. You can also join our YouTube membership program. Just click the join button below. Or you can become a patron and support our website by going to patreon.com/Superman Homepage.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer. I'm the voice of Superman and Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
DC. Comics. Incredible. Action. Astonishing. Adventure. The coolest heroes. The bravest heroines. And the most outrageous villains in the universe. DC Comics. Read 'em and love 'em.
What's so funny?
That ad was on. You could actually buy it and to promote your comic shop. Like there was a space at the end to put in your comic shop information if you wanted to. But they also had it on the VHS tapes of like Batman the Animated Series that were coming out in like 1995. The other thing is I can cite the artist of like most of the artwork that they used and where it's from. A lot of who's who in there. Just gonna say that.
Very cool.
And that Superman is right behind me. So
yeah, indeed.
Redrawn with the long hair, but it's the same idea.
Mm-hmm. So well, let's get into the segments that we like to do on a regular basis. Let's start with This Week in History, since we're looking back at the historical elements. Here you go.
Come with me now, my son, as we break through the bonds of your earthly confinement, traveling through time and space.
Kind of a light week, actually. We're going back to 1953 to start the year with Superman number 81. Which, the Superwoman from space. Even in space, women wore skirts in the 1950s, apparently. So that's fine. 1973, we have, this is complicated, the 100-page super spectacular DC 15 featuring Superboy and a bunch of other characters. This is, it's got Hawk and Dove and the Boy Commandos, who have future Superman supporting character Dan Turpin in it, apparently. Sandman and Sandy. Yeah, those 100-page spectaculars, only 50 cents. Wow. That's amazing. And Superman number 262 came out that same week. Superman destroying a building in a highly improbable way, but we're going to cut him some slack. Jumping ahead to 1980, jumping ahead to 1983, another issue of Superman, Superman number 382, Lois Lane, Witch of Metropolis, which is kind of a modern take on the cover to Lois Lane number 1, a little bit, but it's by Gil Kane, so it's pretty spectacular. 1993, we're continuing Funeral for a Friend with Superman, the Man of Steel number 21, and my God, what a harrowing cover.
Yes, poor Jonathan.
That was a big deal, man. When I saw that cover, I'm like, oh my God, are they killing Jonathan too? So 2003, Superman and Batman Generations 3 number 1. Speaking of stories that end with time travel, that ending I saw coming. You go back to my reviews, because I actually wrote the reviews for this back in the day on the homepage. I was not kind to this series. I like parts of it, but yeah, it's quite the saga to get through. And this was a big deal. Kind of interesting to think that 20 years later, we are now doing another big, huge revamping of Superman. Superman: The 10-Cent Adventure number 1, which kicked off Stephen T. Siegel's run, which I also wasn't kind to at the time. But actually spoke to Stephen T. Siegel at a convention a couple years ago, and we had a really nice conversation about that, actually. And then 2013, we have Action Comics number 16, which is getting towards the end of Grant Morrison's run. And Smallville Season 11, number 9, with the return of Impulse, and a very weird-looking Superman on the cover. I will say that. The real world is a little weird this week, folks. January 9th, Susanna York, born in 1939. She was, of course, Lara in Superman the movie. She was also the wife of Bob Cratchit in the 1984 George C. Scott Christmas Carol.
Okay.
And her husband was played by David Warner, who was Jor-El on Lois and Clark.
There you go.
So that's weird. January 14th, Superman's Girlfriend, Lois Lane number 1, which we were literally just talking about. It's like I planned this.
Yeah, well, obviously they thought it was an anniversary at the time for them to do that story.
So,
which was it? Which was the comic book? Was it that we were talking about? That was almost like an indicative of that cover.
The Superman number 282.
282. I just want to bring it up. 282 or 262? 260? No.
Or 382.
382.
The
so
382.
That's. And then that's.
Yeah, it's very much the modern version of that. You're weird.
Yeah.
I did not twig on that until I started talking about it. But this is how the vagaries of time kind of make things a little weird and sad, because on January 14th, 2011, Susanna York passed away of cancer, which is really sad. Yeah, I don't think we've ever had this happen before,
where someone was born and died in the same week.
Yeah, that's I mean, at least she got to celebrate a birthday,
I guess.
I don't know. Yeah, she was in her 70s.
Yeah,
that is just
there you go.
Always breaks my heart when that happens. But yeah, that's this week in history. We're going to steer out of this skid of depression.
Yep. No, thank you for that, Michael. Appreciate that. Okay, well, let's jump straight into our fan favorite segment, which is going to be a very short one this week. And I say it's going to be a short one because our question was, what was our question? Something about Christmas.
What Superman Christmas gifts did you receive? And apparently nobody received any.
No, did you?
No, we got a game. We were going really simple this year, so we got the Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker saga.
Nice.
Which we're not very happy with, I might add.
That's sad. It's not so much a Superman. It wasn't a present. It wasn't a gift as such, but it happened around Christmas. My brother-in-law gave me a Superman football, which is
neat.
It's Australian. It's not rugby league, not rugby union. It's AFL, which is Australian Football League, another version of football here in Australia. Yeah, that was nice of him, and so thank you to my brother-in-law David for that. But I got a Christmas card from our good friend Billy Hogan, who
Yes.
sent me this crypto and streaky Christmas card, Peace on Earth. So thank you to Billy and his partner Cynthia, or wife Cynthia. Happy holidays. So that was very kind. And Justin also, Suarez, who's a regular on this show, sent me a Christmas card this year. So thank you to those folks for doing that. But yeah, I think I've got something else Christmas related, but it's skipping my mind at the moment. I can't remember what it was.
Do you look at American football and wonder why they wear all the padding? Is that like one of your reactions to...
No, I understand why.
Well, yeah, I mean now,
Yeah.
yeah. With recent events, it's not funny.
No, not at all. I mean, it's a different game altogether compared to what we have here.
Yeah.
But the padding and that is, and I guess with the helmets especially, players are more likely to put their heads in positions where they normally wouldn't if they didn't have a helmet. So that kind of adds a whole different element and aspect to the NFL that you don't get in our game.
Yeah, my brother-in-law, my oldest sister's husband, played rugby in college, so he and I used to have conversations about that when they were first together.
Mm-hmm. Steve Brown says, I forgot to respond, but my daughter's got me the Action Comics #1 Superman Funko Pop. So that's great. Thanks for sharing that, Steve. JP Rocha says he got a Superman Pez dispenser. They went all out. Spared no expense.
I didn't get it for Christmas, but I just knocked a bunch of action figures over. I did get the Justice League, the long-haired Superman Funko Pop, which the Target exclusive. So yeah, it's actually a really impressive looking Funko Pop.
Nice, very nice. So what's our new fan favorite question for this week, Michael?
Using your crystal ball. What? I'm just going to leave that for right now. I'm sitting here trying to do the show and straighten my shelves at the same time. Using your crystal ball, what do you think will be your favorite thing about 2023? That's a good one.
Yeah.
Because we can come back to it in December and see if people feel the same way.
Yeah, so just kind of think ahead. We've spoken a little bit about what we're looking forward to in 2023, or what's about to come our way in 2023. So let us know what you think, looking with an eye to the future. What do you think will be your favorite part, Superman-related element of 2023? You can get involved with the fan favorite segment. The email address is at the bottom of your screen now, info@supermanhomepage.com. Send us an email. Let us know what you think will be your favorite thing about 2023 as far as being a Superman fan is concerned. And we'll read out your responses when we return to this segment next week. Looking forward to seeing what fans are looking forward to, or what they think will be their favorite part of 2023 when we get back next week. All right, we're going to jump into the comic book side of things, and we're going to bring in our good friend and regular caller, Mark Lax. Welcome, Mark. How you doing?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Doing well. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Bad angle. Sorry.
That's all good.
I'm not in my usual spot, so.
Not in the kitchen.
I was going to say, you're not in the kitchen.
No, well, my sister and brother-in-law and nephew are here, and they're camped out downstairs, so I'm up here.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Got to get to a quiet spot. But
yeah,
we're going to jump into the comic book side of things, as I mentioned, and I wanted to get both of you guys' thoughts on Action Comics 1050, which came out at the very end of December 27th. It's kind of the Action Comics 1051 will be the new jumping on point, as they say, for Action Comics if you're interested. But obviously being a landmark issue, Action Comics 1050 was an important one in and of itself. Thoughts?
Well,
you go ahead, Mark. You go first. No, you go first.
Okay.
I've been yakking for like 45 minutes now.
Okay. No, I thought it was great. I mean, the way it was done, it was very interesting. It was not quite what I expected, But no, it was really, I really enjoyed it. I mean, of course, it is. I guess it's also jumping on point because the way it ended, see the next in Superman #1 and the next in Adventures of so they're kind of ending each of those stories so you could set up for the next story. But as far as the identity and all that, I mean, I found it clever, but at the same time, I wasn't quite sure. I don't know. I got the feeling that Clark, for some reason, didn't feel as happy about it as some other people felt. Um, Certainly, I think Jonathan, if that last panel is any indication, certainly seemed happy that nobody knew who he was. Batman thinks it's a good thing. And, Superman does say, admitted, yeah, well, I kind of took the spotlight away from Lois, the star reporter. So I'm kind of sorry about that. So now things maybe, she can get her star back or whatever. But no, all around, I really, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. And the whole thing with Lex and all that was fantastic.
I was intrigued because with everything old is new again. This is the last time the identity was wiped away from at least one person involved Manchester Black back at the end of Ending Battle. He
right.
removed the knowledge from Lex Luthor that Clark was Superman. Now the difference here is that it was Lex using Manchester Black, who kind of ends up being a good guy. But I also think that's the power of Superman. Like Superman made this guy a believer. There's a whole podcast episode or something to like the rise and fall and rise again of Manchester Black. Just in what he represented back in the early 2000s and what he represents now. I thought this was a very elegant way to fix it. I was intrigued that the editor of the Superman comics said the number one thing that they were going to deal with, their number one goal when he came on as editor, was to get the identity back. Which says to me that not everybody at DC was on board with this thing. So I thought it was a really good anniversary issue, really good Lex Luthor issue. Man, they got Lex Luthor down. Lex Luthor is back to being a really good villain, which 10 years ago we really couldn't say. And he's not trying to be a good guy. He's not trying to be a hero. He still thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. And
he should
watching Super. Yeah. So I feel bad for Perry. I didn't want Perry to have a stroke.
Slight casualty, but he'll be okay.
Which kind of digs at the heartstrings when you think about the page from when Clark told him, and he hugged Clark, and now he's got I just love Perry walking in. It's like, Superman, what are you doing here? He's like, Perry, I'm Clark, and he collapses. But yeah, I think one of the things that Tom Taylor played with in the background, it wasn't a main thing, but that the Kents have a giant target on their back. This isn't a good thing.
No.
So getting everything back, Jonathan being happy about it, I just thought it was a really satisfying way to get us to the next era. And it was kind of like Adventures 500, where we had the previews at the end of all of the different titles.
Yeah, so it's for those folks who maybe haven't read it yet, the Secret Identity is back. Lex uses Manchester Black's telepathic abilities to make it happen. Mark is actually in the process of writing an article for us that'll hopefully explain it to folks who haven't read it or don't read comic books and who are interested in how it all came about, and giving a little bit of his thoughts on it as well. This is the dawn of DC. It will begin with Superman #1, The Adventures of Superman John Kent #1, and Action Comics 1051. So it's a new era. We're about to kick off in a whole new direction. And, having spoken previously on this show to Philip Kennedy Johnson, I'm really excited for what they've got in store. We've got Tom Taylor still involved. Joshua Williamson is also writing the new Superman title. It bodes well for where Superman comic books are going to go in 2023. The secret identity is back. What you think of how it happened is kind of, a little bit to the side because it's back, and that's really all that matters from moving forward.
Yeah. I not to be a dead horse, but I went back and I listened to the Word Balloon with John Suntress, where Brian Michael Bendis announced about revealing the identity, and it was there was so much about it, and I'm not gonna go down on Bendis. I mean, he's a good writer and all that. I just didn't love what he did with Superman, but he was so giddy and so happy about it, and so but to the point where he's saying, oh, how amazing will it be when Batman finds out, and how amazing. I'm like, what's so amazing about it? I mean, Batman's either going to say, oh, good for you, Clark, or Clark, this is the dumbest thing you've ever done, and I don't know. Just juxtaposing what the interview he did with Brian Michael Bendis, and then he did the interview, and you did the interview with Philip Kennedy Johnson. How different it was, I don't know. I just found it interesting.
Yeah, and John Kent being now with a secret identity, which he really hasn't had. It's kind of it's a whole new take on the secret identity because now he can be whoever he wants to be.
Yeah, he doesn't have to wear a mask and then have that blown completely, like right away.
And I guess he doesn't have to wear glasses either.
In the comments, Mind the Gap says, "Remember the Superman 2000 Now pitch about removing the secret identity? That they didn't remove the secret identity; they got rid of the marriage and reinstated things back to where Lois didn't know."
Yeah. So the secret identity was still there, just Lois didn't know that the secret identity was there.
Yeah. So, but no, it was great. I liked it. I have not eagerly awaited a new issue of Superman like that in some time.
Very cool. Now, it's been a pretty lean couple of weeks, obviously, because of the time of year for new Superman comic books. So last week we had Dark Knights of Steel #9 was the only issue available. And this week, the only issue for comic book fans that are Superman readers is... Whoops, I'll just get things... That's Action Comics 1050. We've got the Lazarus Planet Alpha one-shot. Now, I mention it because I think Superboy and maybe Supergirl are in the issue. It is out January 10th. So it's the only real thing that is out there that is Superman related this week. The Lazarus Planet thing saga is, part of the relaunch of the new DC era. So it might be something that you would want to check out. But I don't think it's very heavily Superman related, this Alpha issue.
Yeah, it comes out of the Batman versus Robin, which is actually pretty good. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's supposed to be an event. I'm sure at some point it's not going to be maybe the biggest event of the dawn of DCU,
No.
But could be interesting.
There you go. Well, thanks, Mark. Appreciate you calling in as always. It's great to hear from you. And as I said, Happy New Year. Hope this is a good one for you.
Yeah, same to you guys. Happy New Year.
Take care.
I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
That was Mark Lax. Appreciate him calling in. All right. This one was kind of interesting, Michael. We've got a few minutes left before the end of the show. Lazy Droid Studios and animator Paul B. Freiling created a teaser trailer for an imagined concept. So it's not happening, but it's a concept trailer for an animated series based on the never-made Superman Lives movie, which would have starred Nicolas Cage. Have a look. I'm going to kind of skip ahead to a fair little bit of it because it's a couple of minutes long, but Superman Lives animated teaser. Have a look.
For you to visit Earth, so that we might discuss the issue, or rather, the problem we call Superman.
Thoughts?
I'd be all for an animated film based on that script.
Mm-hmm.
I really would. I hold to the theory that we dodged a bullet. As amazing as that documentary that the late John Schnipp put together, which is still I love watching that thing. I just think that I joked about it on Twitter a couple days like last week or somewhere around there, where I was like, this is a movie we would have made fun of at the time, and now when it got its Blu-ray release, there'd be all these think pieces about how it was genius and how the audience at the time didn't understand it. But no, an animated version with like Nick Cage and Christopher Walken and Sandra Bullock and Chris Rock all like doing the roles. I think that would be amazing.
It would be an awesome Elseworlds kind of thing to look at. It's just got that buzz about everyone, like how bad or good or crazy or freaky would this thing have been. An animated style take at it wouldn't be a bad idea, just to see how wacky it would have really been.
I do want to point out that the costume, as shown in the pictures, had the briefs.
At some
but
point,
that's a minor pedantic issue with with it. So,
well, that pretty much brings us to the end of tonight's first episode for 2023. Check out the website if you didn't catch them for the Shield Awards winners. We announced those with a video that's on our YouTube channel as well. Also, our Super Trivia quiz is updated for a beginning of a new month. There was an interesting one where a self-professed comic book nerd and former mayor of Long Beach City, Robert Garcia, swore in to Congress, taking the oath on a copy of Superman #1, amongst other things, but Superman #1 was amongst there, underneath all the other things that you're supposed to swear on top of when you join Congress. But that was an interesting one.
Yes, you don't have to swear in a Bible, folks. You can swear on anything you want.
Yep, indeed, as long as you
it's
take
in the Constitution.
Exactly. So there you have it. So things to check out on the Superman homepage since we last did our show. But for now, that is it for tonight's show. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to Superman Homepage Live. I want to thank our sponsors, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. I want to thank you, my co-host, Mr. Michael Bailey. Thank you so much. Welcome to another year of Superman Homepage Live.
Pleasure as always.
And don't forget, Michael and I will be back next week on January 16th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time for another edition of Superman Homepage Live. We hope you'll join us then. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of myself and Michael Bailey. Thanks for watching Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com. See ya.